Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today my topic is about medical milestones. So everyone knows that they have to take a daily checkup every year or yearly checkup because they need a flu shot so they don't get any infections. So in the 18th and 19th century that happened. There were many kinds of ways that medical milestones improved. For example, the first vaccine was created. So this happened in the 18th and 19th century, and then there were many variations, which was the germs, a mild form of germ put inside your body. So there would be kind of like a reaction to your body, and then your body would get immune to the disease. So this is just like the shot, but this was much more riskier because you were actually putting a disease in the body. So there are other discoveries, like one kind of scientist, he made this blood group, and then there was A, B, O, and AB. So this was 4 different types of blood groups. So blood groups are important because each person has a different blood group. So each person has a different blood group. So if someone has a lack of blood, then you have to give them the right kind of blood when you do blood transfusions. So blood transfusions are when you have your blood taken out, some of your blood taken out, and you donate it to someone else. But blood transfusions, you have to have the right kind of blood to put to someone else. So many surgeons do this, but surgeons, they have to be very careful. And then the A, B, O, and AB blood groups help surgeons a lot. So I'm going to talk about this very important person, which her name is Mary C. Cole, and I'll talk about the fact. I'm going to talk about the first vaccine. I'm going to talk about the germ theory. I'll talk about the antiseptics and x-rays, and I'll talk about the take a look fact, where you can look at the picture too. So I'll talk about the very important person named Mary C. Cole. So Mary C. Cole was a nurse, and then she was British, also Jamaican. So she served as a nurse, but they didn't let her be a nurse in the Crimean War. So the Crimean War was against Britain and Russia. So they also got allied, but many people were hurt over the 3 years in the Crimean War. So Mary C. Cole, she wanted to help people, but she got rejected because of her skin color, because she's Jamaican, so that's why. So she got rejected, but instead she used her own money to travel to Crimea so she can serve as a nurse. So she really wanted to serve as a nurse there, so she would save people's lives. So that's why she traveled to Crimea with her own money, and then she served as a nurse. So now I'm going to talk about the fact. So the British nurse, Florence Nightingale, she made the first nursing school in 1860, and it was called the Nightingale Nursing School, and then it was the very first nursing school to learn how to nurse. So that was a very important kind of school because it was the first one to be a nursing school, and it was invented by a woman. So now I'm going to talk about the first vaccination. So vaccines are very important because you take them a lot in the year. So for example, like COVID-19, we don't want to get COVID-19, so we get vaccines. So vaccines change every year because the COVID-19 or other viruses, they change their form, so then they will need a different kind of vaccine. But the first vaccine was invented when this scientist, he noticed that the milkmaids who worked with the cows and made milk, and then those people, they only got cowpox, not smallpox. So smallpox is much worse than cowpox. So cowpox is just a mild form of disease. So there was this boy, and then he was basically did not get any smallpox because he was part of like a milkmaid. So this Dr. Jenner, who is the person who invented the vaccine, he used this needle, and then he infected it with kinds of viruses, like the cowpox virus, and then he infected it to the boy, and the boy quickly healed when then the vaccine got stabbed in. So it's just like your vaccines at home or wherever at the doctor. So they stab the disease in, and then the body gets immune to it. So that means the body gets unaffected by it because it starts fighting back. So that's why this scientist and also doctor, he made the vaccine. But also after that, he used smallpox, and then he dipped it in the vaccine needle, and he put it in the boy, and then he got infected by smallpox. But smallpox is much worse than cowpox. But even though he only got a mild form of the disease, he really fast cured from the disease. So that's how vaccines work now. So now I'm going to talk about germ theory. So there was this biologist named Louis Pasteur, and Louis Pasteur noticed that if you put wine out and then you don't keep it somewhere safe, then the microorganisms, it will make the wine turn sour. So the microorganisms, it affected the wine. So that was one of his discoveries. So one of his discoveries was how wine turns sour, and then he published it one time because he thought it would be important discovery. So he noticed that these microorganisms, they did something to the wine. So he made a kind of published theory so everyone could know. And then another time, this helped people know that there's different kinds of bacteria that can cause disease. So each kind of bacteria causes a different kind of disease, but some bacteria is good and some is bad. So I know this because we can't get rid of all the germs because some are good for digestion. So like they're in your stomach and then they help digestion. So he noticed that other types of kinds of bacteria, they cause disease, and how specific kinds did. So now I'm going to talk about antiseptics. So if you're a surgeon or you've ever met a surgeon, you should ask this question. What do they do after they have surgery? Do they clean the tables or do they just leave it there? So surgeons, they just left the table there when a surgery was done because people that didn't know that it would cause disease. So most people were dying because of surgery because the bacteria on the table, they were infecting the people, so they died very easily. But there was this British biologist, and then he invented the antiseptic for the tables, and then for the surgeon tables, he sprayed it all over the table. And then next time a person came, they didn't get as much infected as last time. So the death rate lowered from 46% to 15% just because he sprayed this kinds of bacteria killing substance on the table so people won't die, because the substance, it killed the bacteria that would have been infected the person that is on the table. So that's cool because I never thought of it like you can just spray this kinds of substance on the table, and then it'll help a person lower its death rate when it's doing surgery. So now I'm going to talk about an X-ray. So in 1895, there was this German physicist, and then his name was William Röntgen, and then he invented the X-ray. So he found out a kind of radiation that would help pass through skin and find the bones. So he couldn't identify this radiation because it didn't have a name yet. So he just named it X-ray. So now they can use the X-ray to send radiation down, and so they can see the bones inside. So X-rays, they're pretty useful because you don't know what's inside the body. So you can use the radiation to see what's inside the body. So other people have taken X-rays before, and they probably have experienced their bones, and they probably look at their bones. It's really interesting when you get injured because you can see which part got injured and which joint is injured too. So like right here, there's this part that we usually don't see in the skin. So we can easily identify that there's an injury over here. So now I'm going to take a look. Until the 20th century, the Chinese people, they use a kind of strategy or method for medical conditions, and it was called acupuncture. So acupuncture, they put needles inside your skin, so to cure like pain, and also it helps to improve medical conditions. But I've always thought of like acupuncture, it's very traditional, and most people don't like the sound of it because like you put needles inside your skin. But professionals, they're really good in that they put it in specific pressure points in your skin, and they know exactly which parts will hurt and exactly which parts will not hurt. So like this person over here, he's stabbing needles into someone's skin, and then the needles, it won't hurt because the professional, he put it in the right spot. So if you don't put it in the right spot, it will probably feel really painful. But if you put it in the exact right spot, then it won't feel as painful. So this is a very traditional kind of method. It's still used today, mostly in China, but China also uses Western medicine, which is like our kind of medicine, but they still use traditional medicine. So some people just want traditional medicine or medical ways. So for example, one traditional medicine that people thought would work was like use rhino horns and then grind it up into medicine, and then if you drink it, people will think you're really strong. But that actually isn't true. That just makes you probably think it's true, but you really don't get affected. But for this kind of method, it's traditional, but it actually still works because it helps cure pain and it helps improve medical conditions. And I think medical milestones, they've been reaching from very far. So at first, probably like the Egyptians or something, they thought you could use leeches to suck the blood, and then they thought it would work. But now that would have been a really bad strategy because they would just kill their patients. But nowadays, then there are really good kinds of medical methods. Like there are kinds of automatic surgeries that people can use to control. So surgeries are now very advanced, and other kinds of medical field things are very advanced too. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my topic. If you have any questions about the medical field, you can comment below.